We cut the deficit by $160 billion, billion, B-I-L-L-I-O-N, dollars on the Medicare deal.
What's good? Welcome in. Got a couple topics here for you. We'll jump right in, right? New article dropped letting you know that Gen Z will be the last white majority born here in the United States. That those born after 2010, Generation Alpha, will be the first majority here in the country. Doesn't you think that's kind of cancels each other out there? But absolutely planned, right? And they let you know what they're going to do beforehand if you're paying attention. Some years back, the New York Times dropped an article entitled "We Can Replace Them," primarily focused on voter demographic here in the country because you got to pad those leftist numbers. But make no mistake, it's on purpose. It was put. It's a practice put in place from a theory that you were called a racist, bigot, conspiracy theory for even speaking on, right? But it's not just here in America; it's across the West as a whole. Even the UN, their most updated charter, covers population replacement quite extensively. Goes on to talk about birth rates, tax revenue, filling jobs, and of course the humanitarian fucking asylees. Right? And economics doesn't make you an asylee. It's, yada. But here in America, we're just getting to where Europe's been for a while now, as far as millions pouring through since Biden and Mayorkas have took office, and especially now that they've instituted Mayorkas' fast pass on the free Obama phones as they walk in. And you think it's not on purpose? Boom, 500,000 illegals in our colleges alone. And it's not on purpose, but yet they know where they're at and they're still there. And they absolutely want to make you pay for it. I've shown in a previous episode how immigration is a net loss for every single state. And what do you think Biden's student loan forgiveness schemes will do for these 500,000? Not just the ones you know about, right? And it's always doom, gloom, and stupidity because this shit comes from the same people that are preaching boiling earth, we're all going to die, and you shouldn't have kids for climate change's sake, right? But you should open the borders, let millions pour through, and raise your country's carbon footprint by raising the living standards of those people. Always high intellect, man. Woo, right? Moving on, federal judge Aileen Cannon, dealing with the Jack Smith Trumpsicles bullshit down there in Florida, recently came out and smacked the old lizard across the mouth, denied his request to seal his indictment files on Trumpsicles from the public. And this comes right around the same time we just learned the January 6th committee had destroyed all their files and paperwork. So important, they spent millions of your dollars, thousands of man hours to destroy it before you could fucking see it. You know what I mean? But this judge also came out smacking, pushing for answers on why this dude keeps using an out-of-state grand jury to pursue post-indictment hearings. Basically, she's seeing through the political banana theater here. She can't do too much. It's going to take an act of the Supreme Court to shut this down. But it was nice to see the lizard hitman take a smack across the mouth, right? Pretty good times. Moving on here, new poll came out showing that the majority of Americans do not support more money in aid to the Ukrainians, as it's a losing proposition, right? We're talking, we're about $200 billion in the hole to them already, over $30 trillion in debt. And, if you ask these polls the right way, if you want Hitler's P. Putin's to lose, Americans will say, yeah. They'll say, do you want more of your money sent over there? They're going to say, hell no. You know what I'm saying? We have our own messes to deal with here, obviously just stated. But, the EU warmongers, they got a different outlook. They've recently released their plans to, continue to fund this war for 4 years. And when one of the representatives was pressed for a comment on the situation, his only reply was, Oceania's always been at war with East Asia. Right? Moving on here. So, you don't like stank butt or onion pits? Well, according to the Daily Mail, you're probably a xenophobic racist bigot, right? In other words, the immigrants they're opening the door for, they think smell like shit. You know what I'm saying? The upper crust thinks you reek, and they're passively aggressive telling you so by blaming us. Real shit, man. So, stupid shit. If you don't like BO, you probably have a negative look on migrants. Always clown world, never cease to amaze. Sticking with that same route there. Apparently, blacks are more affected by mass shootings in large metropolitan areas here in America, and it's deep systemic racism's to blame for it, right? It has nothing to do with the fact that those metropolitan areas are primarily populated by blacks and one group's propensity toward violence, right? And I know people love that's a stereotype and that's racism. Well, census numbers combined with crime statistics tell you a vastly different story, man. Black on black crime is a real problem that must be dealt with internally and culturally, right? Blaming, the dwindling world minority, white people, for your woes, from 200 years ago, it's getting old, and it's not fixing a damn thing, all right? Who's the real racist here? You guys tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Come by to argue, debate, or just say fuck off. Smell you later.
We're not against the Republicans. We're not against the Republicrats. We are against those MAGA thugs. Thugs.